Hi, it's Mrs. Pope, and today we're going to be talking about the discriminant. The discriminant is a really neat feature of quadratics. If you have a quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Well, the neat part about this is just taking that and getting a value can tell you a lot of information about the parabola. So our goal is to use the discriminant to determine the type and number of solutions to a quadratic equation. Solutions, roots, zeros. Remember that. So here's our chart here. I do want you to copy this down. And it may be helpful to pause it, copy it down, then come back. But if you find b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, it's a positive number, and that positive number is a perfect square, such as 25, like you could take the square root of it and get an even number, then that means there are two real rational roots. So your answers are going to be two rational roots, meaning they can be written as ratios, they're whole numbers, something like that. If you find that b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 and it's not a perfect square, so it's still positive, but it's not a perfect square. You can't take the square root of 37 and get a perfect square number like you could for 25. Then you have two real irrational roots. So you still have two roots. It still is going to cross the x-axis twice, and these are just samples. Yours might be higher up, lower, more narrow, more wide. It could be flipped up, flipped down, but the main idea here is that it crosses the x-axis two times. If you find that b squared minus 4ac equals 0, that means there will be one rational root, and it's only going to touch the x-axis one time. And if you come up with a negative discriminant, it's less than 0, such as negative 144, there will be two complex roots, meaning the roots will be there, but they'll be imaginary. And since they're imaginary, the graph will never ever cross the x-axis. So you can find a wealth of information out just by finding out b squared minus 4ac. So let's look at two quick examples by finding the discriminant. Find the value of the discriminant and describe the number of types of roots. So you'll need that chart that you just had. So if we find the discriminant, let's find a, b, and c. A is 7, b negative 11, c is 5. So we want to find b squared minus 4ac. So we want negative 11 squared minus 4 times 7 times 5. If you calculate all that up, you should end up with negative 19. Because it's negative, look at your chart and you'll see because it's negative, we know it's not going to cross the x-axis. So we're going to have two complex roots. You could have said two complex solutions, either way. X squared plus 22x plus 121. Let's find b squared minus 4ac. A is 1, b is 22, c is 121. So b squared minus 4 times 1 times 121. So 22 squared, if you figure this all out, you'll end up with 0. If you have 0, then there's going to be one rational root. So that's it. Find the discriminant, look at your chart, and tell me how many solutions, roots, or zeros there are, and whether they are rational or irrational. Thanks for watching, and remember you are responsible for your own learning.